How modern money safely abandons the middle class. Have you ever noticed something strange? The economy is supposedly growing. Companies are making record profits. Stock markets keep hitting new highs. Yet somehow, millions of middle-class families feel like they're falling behind. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Today we're going to explore a controversial idea. What if modern money isn't broken? What if it's actually doing exactly what it was designed to do? And what if the middle class is quietly paying the price? Let's begin. For most of history, building wealth was relatively simple. You worked hard, you saved money, you bought a house, maybe invested a little, and over time, your savings gained value. That was the basic promise of the middle class. But something changed. A lot changed. Today, governments and central banks can create new money with a few clicks. Trillions of dollars, euros, pounds, and other currencies can enter the financial system almost instantly. Now, creating money isn't automatically bad. In fact, during crises, it can prevent economic collapse. But here's the interesting part. The new money doesn't arrive equally. It enters the economy through banks, large corporations, financial institutions, and asset markets first. And that creates winners and losers. Imagine a giant concert. The people standing closest to the stage hear the music first. Everyone else hears it later. Modern money works in a surprisingly similar way. When new money enters the system, investors and large institutions often receive the benefits before prices fully adjust. They buy stocks, they buy real estate, they buy assets, and asset prices rise. Meanwhile, ordinary workers usually receive higher wages much later, if they receive them at all. By the time more money reaches everyday households, the cost of homes, education, healthcare, and basic living expenses may have already increased. The result? People feel richer on paper, but not necessarily in reality. Let's talk about housing. A generation ago, a typical home might cost 3 or 4 times an annual salary. Today, in many places, it's 6, 8, even 10 times annual income. That's not because houses suddenly became 10 times better. It's because cheap money often flows into assets, and housing is one of the world's favorite assets. So while homeowners may celebrate rising property values, first-time buyers face a completely different reality. They need larger deposits, larger loans, and decades of debt. That's a very different version of the middle-class dream. Then there's investing. Financial markets have become one of the biggest wealth generators in modern history. Sounds great, right? Well, yes, if you already own assets, but many middle-class families are living paycheck to paycheck. They're dealing with rent, food, transportation, childcare, and bills. They may not have extra money available to invest. So while asset owners benefit from rising markets, others simply watch from the sidelines. The gap slowly widens. Not overnight, not dramatically, just year after year, quietly. Now, here's the important part. This isn't usually the result of some secret conspiracy. It's often a consequence of incentives. Governments want growth, central banks want stability, businesses want profits, investors want returns. Each group follows logical incentives. But when all those incentives combine, the system naturally favors those who already own assets. And that's where the middle class gets squeezed. Not through one dramatic event, but through thousands of small economic pressures. Higher living costs, higher housing prices, higher education expenses, higher healthcare costs, and savings accounts that struggle to keep up. It's like running on a treadmill that's slowly speeding up. You're still moving, you're still working hard, but reaching the same destination becomes more difficult every year. So, is the middle class disappearing? Not necessarily, but it's changing. The traditional path to financial security is becoming harder, and understanding how money moves through the economy has never been more important. Because the people who understand the system can adapt to it. The people who don't often find themselves wondering why they're working harder, but getting less in return. Modern money didn't wake up one morning and decide to abandon the middle class, but its structure may be rewarding certain behaviors while quietly punishing others. And that's a conversation worth having. What do you think? Is the middle class being squeezed by the way modern money works? Or is something else responsible? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll